Welcome back to Let's Play West Brom then, and we're just going to give you a quick update on some of the transfers that have happened since the last episode. Now, if you look on the right, you can see that Hal Robson-Kanu has left the club on a loan deal to Lille. The loan fee is £82,000 a month, and we're actually paying all of his wages still, but there is an optional future fee of £4.5 million from there. We did try and make this fee mandatory. Then he rejected that, so it does look like he's going to go there. Hopefully he plays well there. They buy him, and we never really see him again. Moving on, Robbie McCourt, young player that we had, never actually played for us. Decent player. He's gone to Barnsley for their under-23s, as you can see. Slightly good at left back, sort of good backup, but not amazing. And I mean, we just sold him for 26.5 grand to sort of, well, get rid of him. Really, he wasn't playing. We didn't use him, so it was a good transfer for both parties. The big one then, Solomon Rondon has left the club. 17.75 million. However, rising to 26 million. I know it's not potentially the biggest amount of money we could have got for him. However, these were the only club that were interested in buying him for a good amount of money. We did have offers that were way lower. I didn't want to take them. He did then say that he wanted to move to China. He thought it'd be better for his family because he'd get more money. And to be honest, it's 60 grand off the wage bill that we can spend on good players coming in. And he's performed well this season, to be fair. He's scored 7 goals in 15 games. He will be sorely missed, but it's an important thing that we need to use that money to upgrade the squad. So other transfers are going on in the background, but we'll probably, possibly updates on that throughout this episode, depending on what happens, or maybe at the start of next episode when the transfer window has ended. The lineup for today's game then. Starting in goal, Boaz Myhill. The back four lines up as such: Neom, Evans, Craig Dawson and Gibbs. The midfield starts with Oliver Burke on the right, Nasser Chadli on the left, Livermore and Jakob in the centre. And the two Mousas start up front, Dembele and Marega. Substitutes today then: Ben Foster on the bench with Josh Brennett, Christian Bielik and Matt Phillips. Gareth Barry, Guilherme and Rondon make up a strong West Brom bench. Here we are then at the important game that we've all been waiting for, the second leg of the semi-final against West Ham. The other semi-final was actually played yesterday. Bolton didn't get through. They lost 2-0 to Manchester City, which means Man City went through on aggregate 5-4. And if we do get through to the final, which I'm hoping we will with a 2-0 lead, then we will be looking to play Manchester City in the final, which will be a harder task than playing Bolton to get that European football qualification. However, it is doable. So, I think what we're going to do, we're going to be assertive and say, I expect you to make it happen to get to the final. I think that's what we should say. I'm not entirely sure. Now, as we know, West Ham have beat us once this season, and that's not something we are looking for a repeat of today. We can get an away goal. Really, then we should be on the lookout for going through to the final. As Dembele gets the ball, plays it to Gibbs. Lovely ball into Chadli. Chadli's there. Dembele's there. Thought that was the away goal we were looking for really early on in the game. Would have killed the game, to be honest. West Ham would have come out to attack, and if we'd have scored another goal after that on the counter, I think that's what we should aim for. We're still on standard at the moment. We're not going to push too high up because it is only a 2-0 lead that we've got. But as we... Fantastic. Right. Who was that? So Fernandes plays the ball and Lanzini's there. Livermore plays it back to Antonio, and West Ham score. Changes need to be made then. Well, more direct passing, really. We're going to have to go out and attack now, I think. There's no real option for us apart from that. Not exactly how I wanted the game to start. Luckily, we are away in this leg, which means if we get those away goals, I think they count in this. I'm not entirely sure if they do count in this, but if they do, we are away, and hopefully that's an advantage. As we come forward again, give the ball away. Ayew on the ball to Cresswell. Jakob picks it out, Evans. Hoofball, really. We've resorted back to that, it seems. As Lanzini's coming forward, plays the ball out wide. West Ham looking dangerous. Antonio's there. Nearly levelled it with 12 minutes there, which wouldn't have been ideal coming into this game with a 2-0 lead. As West Ham come back out on the attack, and we're going to need to play slightly deeper, I think. Yeah. I also think we should demand a little bit more from the players, because Livermore, in particular, not having the best game of his life. Not really the games that we want people to not be turning up in, especially in semi-finals. Our second leg of the semi-final, which is quite an important one. Obviously, at the moment, the way things stand, we are still going through, which is fine by me. If we lose and go through, albeit, however, at the moment, it's dangerous, and West Ham hit the post, and we're really struggling here. I am not entirely sure what we can do. That's the trouble now, I think. I'm going to have to get aggressive. And tell you what, Livermore can come off the pitch because he's not had a good game at all. Does mean Barry will come on. Barry can be a deep line playmaker. And then I do think we're going to bring Oliver Burke on this right-hand side as well as a winger. Just see if that makes any difference, having a bit more pace on that side maybe. I do think Barry being that deep line playmaker as well means he can spread the balls a little bit better than Livermore would have been, just running up and down from box to box. Does mean we may get more control of that midfield, which is something that we may look at, as Barry does play a good through ball there, but it's been intercepted. And we're not really, the midfield's not really there as West Ham come on the counter-attack with Antonio. Ball in, Evans there, no idea what we're doing defensively, and awful. Really awful, that is. Now, what do we do is the question. I mean, do we go overload? I think we should try. I think we should also pump the ball into the box and exploit the flanks and shoot on sight and run at defence. As Craig Dawson scores. Did not see that one coming. We watched the replay because we completely missed that. Barry with the ball in, Evans, and then Dawson's there at the back post. I still want to make those tactical changes. I want to go to counter-attack though. And now we've got that away goal. West Ham need another 2 goals. Hoping that's how it's going to work. Not entirely sure on that. Also think we should bring Rodriguez on up front just to shore us up a little bit, give us a little bit more pace up there, just in case anything does happen. If West Ham do get a goal, we then have fresh legs up front to hit on the counter-attack. Even if they don't score, we've still got those fresh legs to hit on the counter-attack and hopefully secure another goal in this game and wrap the result up, really. As the 80th minute hits, Chadley with the ball, and Evans is there, Dawson's there again. And it's 2-2. Craig Dawson with 2 goals today. Central defender. Not someone I thought at the start of the game would have scored 2 goals for us in a semi-final. However, it's going well. I think that's basically game over for West Ham now. Would be nice if we could go on and win the game 3-2 though. As a ball's hoofed up, no one's on the end of it. Ball's hoofed back to Sacco, and Sacco is running with the ball now. Good ball across to Antonio. Antonio's coming through. Antonio out for a goal kick. So as we reach the 85th minute then, it does look like we're going to be going through to the final of a competition with players playing 5.9 at the back. Not good that our backup right back has played a 5.9 and our other right back's injured. Hopefully Neom's back before the final against Manchester City as the game ends. And we have found out that we are going to the final of the Carabao Cup. Great result for us there, I think. Could have played a little bit better. However, the morale getting through to that final is going to be amazing for our form. It also means we have that chance of European qualification. If we just look at the rules, the winners qualify for the final. Oh, that's the semi-final. Apologies, yeah. Winner qualifies for the Europa Cup, winner of the overall cup, and that is the Europa League. If you sort of can't work that one out. If we look then, I think we qualify for the group stage, don't we? If we win. Do we qualify for the group stage? Or do we qualify? No, I think we qualify for a playoff. So there's still some hard teams in the playoffs, but it is something that would be nice for us if we do go on and win the cup final, which is something I'm hoping we'll do since we've got there. Anyway, Southampton is coming up next. The FA Cup 4th round. Possibility to get through to a 5th round here and go on another cup run. The confirmed lineup for today's game then. Starting in goal, number 1, Ben Foster. Out on that right hand side we have Alum Neom. Left hand side we have Kieran Gibbs, and Dawson and Evans are in the centre. Barry comes into the centre with Livermore in the midfield, Oliver Burke and Chadley on the wings. And the 2 Mooses again start up front, Dembele and Marega. On the bench today then we have Boaz Myhill, Josh Brennett, Bielik and Phillips. Rodriguez, Guilherme and Rondon make up the West Brom bench. So then the game against Southampton in the FA Cup 4th round. Those of you with a keen eye will be seeing a new signing here. Gerard Deulofeu is going to be making his debut in this match today. I thought it was better not to announce it and just put him in the lineup and see who picks up on it. But as you can see, we put him in for 6.75 million, valued at 20.5 million, 23 years old, best right winger we've got in the team by far. A great player for us. Another new signing is a player on the bench, Arber Zanelli. Now, Zanelli is quite a sort of, I'm not sure how to say it, he's quite an adaptive midfielder. He does fit in with the style that we currently play, so if he was to play out on the right hand side, he would play as a winger, which is what we do on the right, and if he was to play out on the left hand side, he'd play as an inside forward, which is what we do on the left hand side. As you can see as well, 22 years old, Kosovan has... Well, he is our 3rd best attacking midfielder left, 3rd best attacking midfielder right. Also has the ability to play in the centre and midfield right and midfield left. But he's also got a little bit of potential still left in him, which he can access. His dribbling and pace are fantastic skills. He's got great agility as well. And his off the ball and his flair are also quite good. he's going to be sort of a player that if Chadley goes or we'd lose a player of quality, he can come and fill that role. At the moment, he is on a rotation contract. However, if he progresses well, I can see him being a starter for us, if I'm being honest. Back to the match then. We are going to be assertive today and say, let's give the fans a good performance. And realistically, I'd like to win this game here and have another good cup run, I think. Not entirely sure how it's really going to go down, but we seem to be taking control of the game early on. If you're wondering, are transfers over? Transfers are not over. There's still a little bit to spend. Some players may leave. Players will definitely come in before the end of the window. There's areas that we need to improve. Sunderland there, Patrick Kluivert play Southampton, not Sunderland. Yeah, so Patrick Kluivert is a new signing for them as he crosses the ball in. Possibly someone I would have looked at picking up if we'd have had the money at the right time. Unfortunately, we didn't. But we've got Delafeu in, and we've got Zeleny in, and to be honest, for the combined fees we've paid for them, not including the future instalment fees and everything, but even with those, the combined fees we've paid for them are, I mean, good money for good quality players, and that's really what we're looking for. We're not looking to overspend. There has been a few times that I've gone in for a player and say they're valued at 7 million and they come back and say we want 20 million for them. You just have to say no and move on and find another target, because you're just going to end up paying more money, basically. They know you're in the Premier League, they know you've got money, and they know that you're willing to spend it, so they will ask you for more money. And if you pay it, well, you're possibly not going to make a profit on it if the player does get a little bit better, which is something that we sort of need to rely on. Should mention as well, Delafeu's contract does have a buyout clause. That buyout clause is 65 million. There's no expiry date on that. But it does mean if he plays well for us and someone wants to come and buy him, then we get a nice 65 million, which we can invest elsewhere in the squad. Not really too bothered about losing him for 65 million, if I'm being honest. As Gabbiadini hits the bar and Foster... oh no, Foster actually got a hand on that, I believe. Tip it over. Bit of a boring game so far. Not a lot's really happened. We have been speaking throughout the whole game, but there's not really that much going on. Nice to see Bielik back in the side as well, getting some experience. As the awful goalkeeping of Foster and Southampton a goal. Not really sure what happened there. We're going to look at this replay again because Ward-Prowse here takes it inside. Awful goalkeeping. I'm not even going to try and defend him for that, because that was extremely poor. Does mean then, as we go into half time in the FA Cup 4th round, we are 1 goal down. But also, as we come out, we're going to change to attacking and see if we can grab a goal. Need to sort of get a foothold on the game as Delafeu puts the ball in, Livermore puts it over the bar. Not really too much going on at the moment, I must say. Evans then. Ball out to Brennett, up to Marega, who doesn't win the ball. Patrick Kluivert then. Question now is, does Chadley come off? I think we're going to bring Zeleny on, and we're also going to bring Burke on as a target man, because that seemed to work for us before. And I'm not really sure what other options we have. We are in the process of sort of selling players and bringing in backups at the moment. I think after this episode, we're probably going to look at doing an episode of the Southampton game straight after, and a Chelsea game as well, because Southampton game actually comes on deadline day. So I feel like it's a really good time to get a game in, have a deadline day special, and also, well, have 2 games in a deadline day special, and then we get to sort of round up all the signings as the ball goes in the net. Right, it was Justin Kluivert who scored the goal. Yeah, 9 million they paid for him. Can't really see us getting anything out of our players that we paid that much for. As Southampton come forward again, and Tadic hits the post. And now Dembele's on the ball, plays it up to Burke. Burke's running with the ball. Burke, if he can get a ball in now. Bertrand's there. Dembele's there. Dembele's missed a sitter, and really should have scored that. Run it then. Zinelli, Livermore, Jakob's there. Lost the ball again as Ward-Prowse comes forward. Kluivert with a lovely through ball to Gabbiadini, and Southampton hit the post again. We clear the ball away. Burke, if he can play the right ball here, does play a lovely ball to Deulofeu, who is offside. Foster then, we're coming forward again. We've lost the ball. Won the ball back, Zinelli, doing well there. Dembele with a... Thought it was a lovely ball, just wasn't enough on it. As Livermore plays another awful pass. Not played well the last few games, Livermore. Gabbiadini's through, misses. And Southampton are hitting us on that counter-attack every time, but we really need to push to get a goal, unfortunately. There's not a lot we can do. The only thing would be to bring Barry on in the middle as a deep-lying playmaker. And I think that is what we're going to do. Obviously not doing a lot. We're going to run at defence, shoot on sight, get stuck in, take more risks. As the clock's just ticked down, nothing's happened. And now it's a highlight to Southampton. Deulofeu does win the ball back very nicely, though. Burke, storming run through the middle to Dembele. Got a little bit lucky there. Livermore's there, and Livermore absolutely skies that. Really considering now, when we need to look at the squad again in the summer, I think a revamp is needed. Livermore, for me, played well a few games, but the last few games he's shown that he possibly can't cut it as a first-team midfielder at this level. He looks more of like a rotational backup option. And the question is, while people are interested in him and he's had a decent season, do we cash in on him and get in someone else? Or do we keep him? I think that's one for the comment section that you should let me know about. Livermore, should we cash in or should we keep? Personally, my opinion would be to cash in on him. I think there's better midfielders out there for less money. We could also give them less wages. And I think that's something we should look at, especially as Barry's going as well. Jakob will stay around. However, if someone comes in with a good offer from China for Jakob, I'd probably let him go as well. And we can rebuild that midfield with Deulofeu, Zeleny, Chadley. We could have a really sort of solid midfield then. I'm going to get aggressive and say we're not happy with that result, because we're really not. And then I'm also just going to show you the transfer history before we go anywhere. Hopefully no one paused the video and looked at that, because they may have gave away some of the potential targets we're looking at. But anyway, as you can see then, Deulofeu was bought in from Barcelona for 6.75 million, rising to 10.75 million with potential add-ons. Zeleny was bought in from Heerenveen, or Heerenveen, I think that's how you say it, for £4.1 million, with potential costs rising to £5.25 million. Has anyone been sold during that time? No. thought someone had been sold. No one's actually been sold. There's one more thing though: future transfers. Now, if you're not aware with how football works and contracts work, come January time, most European leagues contracts run out in June, end of June, which means come January time, if you're, I think if you're not in the same league, then you can approach a player from a different league if their contract is expiring to get them on a free transfer. Basically meaning you offer them a contract, you pay nothing unless they're under 23, and come June, in the summer when their contract runs out, you get a player for free, basically. So, Jonathan Bamba, who is that? Bamba is a 21-year-old French international who plays at under 21 level. He does currently play for Saint Etienne. He can play on the right wing, the left wing, and up front. Not as good up front, mainly suited to this right side. He will be brought in as backup, but with good acceleration, good pace and stamina, quite a good all-rounded player. I think he's going to be a good sort of backup for us. Does have a little bit of potential, I think, that we can maybe get out of him. But as you can see, he's played 9 times this season for Saint Etienne. He will probably play more before the end of the season. He's scored 2 goals, got 1 assist. For me, that's good enough for a free transfer. He's only going to be on, I think, about £15,000 when he comes in, which isn't too bad for a backup. Remy Walter then currently plays on loan at Caen and does actually play for Nice. Good season so far for him. 19 appearances, 2 assists, 3 player of the match, and a 7 average rating. If you look, 22 years old, again, another French under-21 international, can play as a deep-lying playmaker, an advanced playmaker, a lot of different sort of playmaking roles in that centre. Can also play up that left side, not very well, but can play up there. He's also not too bad at playing as a defensive midfielder, which means with Jakob possibly going, Barry also going, come the end of the season, and like we just mentioned, Livermore as well, that we've got someone here who comes in at 22 years old, not the oldest, not the most experienced. However, I mean, to be fair to him, at 22 years old, he has played 124 games, which isn't too bad. He's got good passing, good technique, good sort of teamwork, vision, work rate. Quite a good all-rounded player. And I think he's going to be a good signing for us. He will be brought in on a rotation contract. Whether he gets to play a little bit more or not, if he reaches a little bit of potential inside of him, will have to be seen. But I'm quite happy about that. And there are some possible transfers that we would look at doing as well. But we're going to save them till the transfer special next time, which will be following game against Southampton, with Chelsea being the second game in that episode. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, please leave a like down below. Remember to leave that comment. Let me know if we should cash in on Livermore or not come summer. And I'll see you next time.